This is Trophy, the Scoundrel's Quarter, Part 30. We are in the middle of Foulcoult's Bounty, an incursion for Trophy Gold. And let's do some recapping. The party's a little bit split up at the moment. All of you are ultimately trying to reach this amphitheater where we believe Marek Foulcoult, a madman who has turned the entire city of Old Kaleczenie into a fungal infected insane brew. Marek Foulcoult is your bounty. You're going to get paid a pretty significant bounty to bring evidence of his death. But basically, he's going to be preaching at this amphitheater very soon, and this is your shot to get close to him and try to take him out. But right now, the group is split up a little bit. Torum and Berwin have managed to get closest to the amphitheater, having waded through the crowd and done and had a few encounters. Right now, Alina is presently on a side quest to retrieve the ring that is precious to a sea witch. This ring at some point was stolen by a sailor, apparently, according to the sea witch. And the sailor, we think, has ended up in one of the stews in the various stew pits in the food bazaar. Alina has worked out a deal with a stew master to help get to help try to find the ring, but only if the stew master insists that Alina help him season the stew. He'll tell her what he knows. And Cassian is also distracted because Cassian tried to go down a side alley, but in the middle of a sort of procession of spore infected dancers, Cassian saw an old member of the Kingsguard who apparently was pretending to be a dancer, not sick. And so Cassian has snuck into the procession in order to try to see what's up with that person. I need to know a little bit more about that person, though, Cassian. So tell us about him or her.
This is Bidar,
Bidar.
Baidar.
Bidar, I'm going to note that for myself. Great.
And Bidar was a rookie that Cassian trained at several different points
Hmm.
before he departed.
Hmm. Interesting. Okay. So what's your hope here? Like, you just going to try to like do it? What are you doing here? Or like, what you're thinking?
Perhaps the if Bidar is still in the military, perhaps Amberette is taking action against Old Kalexany, and he wants to know what's going
Hmm.
on.
Yeah, we kind of established off mic that our version of Old Kalexany is actually pretty close to Amberette, which is what makes it a problem. I think if Old Kalexany was out in the hinterlands, nobody would give a shit. But because it's like fairly close to Amberette, it's a problem, right? It's on a little island. Like I gather there's like an archipelago of islands near the main city. And so yeah, that's the issue. So that's interesting. Okay, I like that. I think it's an interesting approach. I want to check in with the hunter's basic stat blocks really quickly, though, to remind you all that if you do manage to kill Marek Foulcoult, you will get a very significant bounty. I can't remember how much I said it was, but it was a lot. Was it like two each or three each?
It was three each.
Three each, yeah. 3 gold each. That's huge. This really shows the desperation that various forces arrayed against Old Kalexny are to have Marek Foulcoult gone because he's a problem, right? And so they're willing to pay a lot of money for it. So that will help you with all of your respective burdens, which are 6 across the board. But it's not everything that you need to meet your burdens, and so you do still have to go find other treasures. Those of you who have hunt tokens right now, Alina just lost all of hers, and I think there's only 2 other hunt tokens on the table presently. So just kind of keep that in mind as well. You still have to meet your burdens in gold and treasure. And ruin. Ruins don't look too bad right now. I think at most a couple of you have 1 increase, so not too horrible yet. Any questions before we get started with the story, the role play?
No, but you did bring up a good point about hunt tokens and remembering how disastrous that was for Alina. I would like to
Spend one?
trade in my current token for
Hmm,
some gold.
we can definitely do that. Let me pull up a copy of Trophy loom. Well, there might be something. Let me look. There might actually be something listed in the actual thing. Oh yeah, sure. I like that. So I think most of the vendors, it's mostly trinkets, fake objects, uh, quite a lot of stuff you wish you'd never seen. Just want to throw that out there. We might paint the scene about that later. But every now and then, there are genuine treasures that a person of low moral fiber could steal from the stalls, especially as they're being pushed through a crowd, which functions as a sort of natural distraction. And so I guess we just need to figure out what you managed to get your hands on, person of low moral fiber.
That's really debatable, I think.
Indeed, you were a married man. What am I saying?
I'm upstanding.
I know. Um, I should have pulled Trophy Loom really quickly while I figure that out. I'll get that sorted out for you. Just clear the token and remind me if I don't tell you what treasure you get later. Anything else?
Why do you hate me?
You know, I just want you to enjoy delicious stew and be part of delicious stew as well. It's an interactive experience. Why don't we pick up with that, in fact? So the stew pit person says they might be able to help you out with that, right? They might be able to help you out. I don't remember exactly what you asked them, but
I'm trying to figure out which pit this ring is likely to be in,
yeah,
because
that's
there's a bunch
interesting.
of them.
Willing to help if you are willing to, and I quote, help season his stew. And he's looking at you with a, we'll say, lascivious sideways glance and crooked smile. What do you do?
Well, I'm not getting in the stew. Uh,
Very good.
so I am going to look around at I'm assuming there's masses of people excited for stew, and see if
Actually,
there's
last time we
anybody.
described it's pretty thin. There's not too many people around. Yeah.
Dang, I was going to push somebody in. Um, is there anybody I can push into the stew?
Let me check
This is for the
safety.
sisters,
Check safety
so
tools real quick. Oh, there's none. Okay, we're on. I
roaming.
forgot we're on
Yeah.
roaming. Can you hear me now? Um, I think there's a.
Just do it. Come on.
I'm thinking like where I want to go with this because I don't want it to be I don't want it to feel cheap. No, here I got it. Uh, as you're looking around, you actually you see a group of kids that seem like they haven't been affected by the fungus. They're just playing and hanging out. Um, they're kind of the only people around who don't look like they've got a lot going on in the face. What do you
How
do?
many kids?
Like 6.
I want to call the children over.
Hmm.
I want to talk to them.
They all come over. No trouble. Yeah.
Why, hello, little children. My name is Alina, and I'm an ambassador to the Saints, the sisters. I'm sure you've heard of them.
And then one of the kids says, "Are you here to tell us how great Marek Foulcoult is? We've heard it all before."
Marek Foulcoult is nothing compared to the sisters. But actually, what I'm here is to request your assistance. You look like bright, strong children.
One of them whispers, like, I think they're too young to really have a good appreciation of who the sisters are or what they are. But you hear one of the kids whisper to another kid an explanation. The sisters are those statues of the women down in the square that everyone their throws their, well, they say shit, but all sorts of manner of benighted fluids on.
Yes, unfortunately, that is true. And you see, everybody who does that is going to really suffer the consequences. But not you kids, because you kids are going to help. I know you are. I feel this. You're strong, you're bright, you're capable, you're smarter than anybody else I've seen in this whole town.
One of the little boys says, Lady, if you're depending on us to help you, you must really, really be in a tough position.
Gosh, little boy, I sure am. You know, what I need some help with is in one of these stew pits, there's a ring I'm looking for. I'm not a good swimmer. And you children, well, you look strong. You grow up right next to the ocean here. I bet you're amazing swimmers.
They all look at each other, like, kind of like, they look at each other and they're a little like, yeah, sure, great swimmers, you bet. Go swim in the
Well,
ocean all the time.
and I'm going to pull out the porcelain mask I have that's encrusted with gemstones.
Oh.
The first child that brings me the ring I'm looking for gets this.
Ooh, they all ooh, hubbub, hubbub. And one of them says, that's one of the masks that they wear on the wall.
I got it from a wall person.
That might help us sneak up there sometime. You know, they're kind of going on and on about that. They agree to help you. No roll needed. They're like, well, what do you want us to do?
Well, I need you to dive into the stew and find the ring. It's probably still on a hand. It'll be a man's hand, I think. Probably well manicured. It depends on how long it's been in the stew.
They're kind of nodding, and one of them says, okay, which stew pit?
That's where I'm having trouble. I don't know which one.
I think the stew pit master is like, this one right over here. This is probably where it is.
Look at this, gentlemen. So helpful. You are good swimmers, right, children?
Again, they give you a tentative nod, and one of them steps forward. I'll do it.
Look at you. Look at those strong arms. I can tell you're a good swimmer. And look at those big eyes. You're going to find that ring.
And there's like giggling among the kids because they think this is just funny. They think this is like a stupid, funny joke, right? They're all laughing and giggling. And I think before the kid wants to like touch the stew because it looks hot, and it is kind of warm, but before he can like do anything, the stew pitmaster just kicks him in, and then when the kid tries to get out, he uses his big long stew ladle to just push the kid down and keep him down, and the kid's flailing around and splashing around. What do you do?
I'm gonna push the ladle aside. I need this kid to be able to swim and find my ring. And getting pushed around
I
is not
think
gonna
he
help.
thought you were just trying to lure in seasoning.
No, this kid's finding my ring for me.
Let's do a risk
If he
roll.
perspires as he swims, that can cause some seasoning, but you know.
Let's do a risk roll. I think what's going to happen here is pretty obvious. Do you have a skill that will help you take control of the situation?
Vigilance. I'm keeping an eye on the situation
Okay, I'll
so
take
that
it.
if anything happens, I can, well, not jump in, but
Well,
jump
yeah.
in.
Light die. Rob, you can make a devil's bargain.
No matter what happens, you and the stew master are both going to end up in the stew.
Ah, you son of a.
Oh, so good. Everybody, let's get soaking wet. Dive in the stew.
Fine,
So
I'll take the devil's bargain because I want the dice.
2 light dice. I don't think we need a dark die yet, though. Do we have a die roller? Can somebody link me?
In the chat.
I was in the chat. Oh, there it is. Great, thank you. All right, what you got?
Oh my God. Snake eyes.
Snake eyes. Would you like to add a dark die to try again?
Yes, definitely. 4.
Okay. That's a success. That's a success, but a complication. I think the complication. I kind of like this. You'll be able to save the kid, but the complication is someone at another stew pit with a bowl is like, look what I found in my stew, and it's the ring. We'll come back to this though. Cassian, Bidar. Do you try to get Bidar's attention? Bidar's he, him?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. And
Try
I
to get
think
his
so.
attention.
I'll try and maneuver through the crowd toward him and try and make eye contact.
He looks at you and he says, Oh, my poor mentor, taken by the madness of Old Kaleczenie.
I'm taken by nothing.
Fear
Calm
not.
yourself.
I will avenge you, teacher.
All right. That out of the way. What are you doing here?
Oh, are you not affected? Are you not part
No.
of this?
Why are you?
And you're still like moving along. He's like just doing like a half dance. He's like kind of just a bear, like a token, like, you know, like to the idea of dancing along with the crowd. He says, so the fungus hasn't fully taken over your mind yet then?
Taken over my mind? No.
It will soon.
Why hasn't it taken over yours?
Please tell me everything that you want your loved ones to know. Back home, I'll convey your messages.
You were more useful than this in the King's Guard.
It says, I'm here to kill Marek Foulcoult. His existence has become a problem for the crown. What are you doing here? I tell you this only because, well, you brought shame upon yourself and are certainly not working for the crown anymore.
I am not, but I am also here to kill Marek Foulcoult.
Perhaps this is the only sort of work you could find. The sort of work where you go about like a secret police for Marek Foulcoult to flush out traitors and infiltrators.
No. I'm here to kill the man.
Who do you work for?
Myself.
All right, so you're a bounty hunter now.
Right now, yes.
Oh, how circumstances have brought you low, Cassian. I do the work I
Yes.
do to defend my king and to maintain our peace. I do my part as a patriot. And you are here for money?
Yes, and if it serves to protect your king, then I suppose we're on the same side. We can help each other.
So you would have me
And as
sully
such a
my
patriot-
honor as well?
Yes. Then again, you are dancing in the street with orange paint on your face.
Oh, a bit of subterfuge in service of the mission is something that you would have taught me and you would have approved of.
That's beside the point now. Do you have a way to get to the man?
Well, yes. This procession eventually goes directly in front of the man as he preaches in the amphitheater. My hope is to stick with it long enough so that I can get in place and strike with the element of surprise.
And then what? How would you escape?
I think as you're having this conversation, there's a dancer that's just been slowly and gradually, like, leaning closer and closer between the two of you
Mm-hmm.
until eventually it's just right in the middle of you both, and there's just like orange shit dribbling out of his mouth.
Mm-hmm.
And Bidar's like, I'm sorry, say again.
What? How are you not affected? Do you have an antidote?
No, I haven't been here that long.
Oh. Good. We should find my friends.
I am willing to die for my country.
And your country is willing to let you.
Well then, shall we just follow along until we reach the villain?
You're sure this will work?
Yes, but I think there is still a little bit of procession to go.
Perhaps we can steer it.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
What did you have in mind?
We get to the front.
Oh. No easy feat.
Hmm.
Back here, we can look like the barely infected and go relatively unseen. But up in the front, these are the truly far gone, tragic souls.
I think I will put
And you don't even
on-
have any orange paint on your face, so...
I'm going to put my welcoming committee mask on.
Oh, very good.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully you don't violate some weird protocol in Old Kaleczenie.
Yeah, that would be terrible.
Fantastic. I think it's a risk roll to get to the front of the procession. Everybody, what could go wrong here?
Your mask will come off and they'll realize that you're not infected and they'll go ham on you.
Mm-hmm.
Someone will recognize two former King's Guards, and I think there is a plot afoot.
Hmm.
I think you will... you'll be forced to take part in a particular ritual where the dancers consume great amounts of the fungus.
Hmm. Oh boy. That sounds...
If you want to proceed with this,
Terrible.
by all means, pick up dice. Do you have a skill that'll help you here? Or you have the equipment. You have the
athletics.
mask, right? You have the mask as well.
Mm-hmm.
Devil's bargains.
Yeah.
Everyone can make a devil's bargain. I'll put Scoundrel's Quarter in play.
Hmm.
No matter what, part of the sort of initiation into getting through the threshold is to be anointed in holy stew.
Mm-hmm.
No matter what, you do get infected.
Mm-hmm.
Any more offers?
Yeah, I can't beat those.
All right, you got 3 on the table. What do you think?
The stew seems like something Cassian would just, yes, fine, whatever, stew. But I think the infection is more interesting.
Very interesting. 2 light and 1 dark. Let's see what you got.
4.
Intriguing. I think the complication might be that attempting to move close to the front of the procession causes the dancers to want to ritualistically smudge bits of fungus from their bodies onto you. And I think that's bad enough in itself. That's where your infection is going to come from. but I also think that it takes Bidar completely.
I think I'll add a dark die and reroll.
Okay.
Light 6.
At 6, very good.
Mhm.
That's still going to happen.
Mm.
How are you changing your actions to make it believable that you belong in the front of the procession?
I think. Sorry. I think that using his athletics, he's trying to just be the most exuberant dancer. And whenever anyone looks his way, he, in a bit of a panic at first, but then kind of leans in and goes, "Horsey!" And then just pushes past.
I love it. I think that they are like pawing at you. They are excited. They're thrilled that you are so into the dance, and um, they view this as like a ritually like a holy moment. It's a sacred moment, right? And they would like for their infection to mingle with your infection. This is a sign of great, um, you know, reverence and appreciation. And so you can like feel fingers from hands and arms just reaching up under the mask and like smearing stuff in your mouth, on your lips, and your gums. That's happening to Bidar too, but in a much worse way. But Bidar's he's still fine. He's just like probably also going to get infected. Take this as a condition. This is where I'm going to tell you that the fungus is sentient. How do you know this as soon as you consume some of it?
I wonder if I could parlay that into my gardener ritual.
I'm into it. Yeah, what does that do?
I can consume a plant to absorb some of its memories, and maybe that's how I learn about its sentience.
Oh, that's pretty. Yeah, I like it. I think it's really good. Yeah, okay, I'm into that. How does it strike you, this sentient fungus?
It has not just memories, but plans
Mm,
and intention.
mm. All right, finally, Berwin and Torum. Thank you for your patience as we did those two very important scenes. You're getting close to the amphitheater. As let's paint the scene, as Torum and Berwin get close to the amphitheater, as people are filing into the amphitheater very slowly, but filing in, how can we tell that this is a place of ecstatic ritual significance for the people of Old Kaleczenie?
It is very clean relatively to everything else. There is an effort made. Everyone who walks past, there's no refuse left. There's no junk gathering in corners. Everyone will pick up something to keep it pristine.
There are um, there are vendors, you could say. They don't really sell them though. They just sort of offer them as part of this like great frenzy. They are these sort of stalks of nettles that they're handed off to different people, and they use them to sort of whip themselves with it, so they can sort of keep their blood flowing and keep themselves agitated.
I think there are like bas reliefs in along around the walls in the stone of the walls of this area, and just displaying depictions of people in various ecstatic states.
Any additions, Alina? Are you good?
I'm good. I missed the prompt.
Okay, it's fine. I was just asking, like, how do we know the area around the amphitheater is like more more religiously important to these people? Like, yeah. So you're moving closer with the crowd, Berwin and Torum, which is not as much of a crush as it was before because you all caused a great big water tank to to flood through the crowd. Um, Marek Foulcoult's already preaching. He's like, this is like a Trump rally. Like this motherfucker gets up there and he goes for like 5 hours, right? Like it's that kind of thing, right? And he's just going on and on. You know, you can hear his voice. He's either an incredibly powerful orator or his voice is magically enhanced somehow because you can hear him uh, from inside the amphitheater. Today, you have the extraordinary privilege of standing in the presence of perfection personified. Behold, for I am the pinnacle of evolution, the epitome of your existence, and the unrivaled sovereign of this wretched domain. I, with my magnificence, shall captivate your feeble minds and etch my name into the annals of history as the one true deity to whom you must all kneel in abject adoration. And he's going on like that a lot, right? And the crowd's loving it. They love it. They're going nuts. They're into it. Berwin, Torum, what are the two of you doing?
Well, he does like to go on, doesn't he? Torum, be a dear. And I imagine, based on the sort of flooding that happened last time, that Torum is probably sopping wet. But Berwin is, of course, bone dry because he's on his shoulders. Um, but he'll. I do want to, as I'm from this height, see if I can glean anything from any, especially from like the nearby surrounding stage, to see if he has any sort of like either bodyguards or booby traps or any sort of security in
I don't
place.
think you've made it that far. You're not even that far yet. You're still
Okay.
just like in the crowd of people slowly making their way into the amphitheater. Um, there's a lot of delays.
Yeah, yeah.
There's a lot of like weird taxes and tolls being paid along the way. Uh, there's uh, there's like there's like stew stops. There's all kinds of stuff going on in the line, and it's just making it a really really slow process. That's the basic issue you
I
have
would
right
love
now.
to get some stew, uh, personally. But I'm wondering if I could do a hunt roll. I would like to do one, but my thinking now is that if we're not close enough, someone who has theoretically been here is uh, the mariner, who is sort of still in my head. So I want to check in with him to see if he knows anything that he can sort of that I can divine and sort of help navigate us.
Oh yeah, I'm into that. That's pretty good. I mean, presumably that mariner was lost at sea, but we don't know if he actually made it to Old Kaleczenie and was familiar with it, or if he was lost at sea prior to hitting Old Kaleczenie.
Yeah,
That might
that's my
affect the
thinking.
quality of information. You can go ahead and make a hunt roll though.
Mm. And can I use my charm as my other light die? Because charming with ghosts.
I mean, I think just the fact that you have this ritual that you
Okay,
can use two light dice because this is just something you can do.
that's a 6 light.
Very good. What are you doing, Dorum?
I think really just trying to forge forward through this crowd, shouldering my way through with Bowen on the back. And yeah, I think seeing the target of our mission up there reaching, it seems like, the goal is in sight, and Torm's pretty focused on that.
You will notice that breaking out over the crowd is breaking out over the crowd is like a command or a hue and cry to make way to make way for the dancers. And at this point, the big procession of dancers starts coming.
In that case, I have a fantastic plan.
Berwin, Cassian's wearing a mask, and so you wouldn't recognize Cassian that way. But what else about Cassian's appearance lets you know, oh, that's Cassian at the front?
His hand,
Ah, very good.
his wooden hand.
This is Cassian like you've never seen him before. Maybe he's gotten infected. Maybe there's something else going on here. But Cassian is he's giving you all of the what's his face in Friday the 13th 4, business.
Crispin Glover just
Crispin
sort of,
Glover, yeah, doing his thing.
Mm.
Moving in the front of the crowd. What do the two of you do?
All right.
Hold on tight, Berwin.
Oh, wait, did you see that? And I'll just manually move your head to face in Cassian's direction.
And I think as you're doing that, Torum is starting to like dance, and everything he learned at the Vine Palace of dancing is being deployed here. Everything he dreams of doing in Count Shima's Forbidden Festival.
I love it. Berwin, you can take your token.
But-
I don't think you get any other extra information apart from just seeing the procession come. Sorry, go ahead, Rob. What were you saying?
Yeah, I think just trying to join the dancers as a way to get closer.
Torum, I like this as a risk roll.
Mm.
Group, what do we think could go wrong here?
Well, the worst thing to possibly happen would obviously be he gets too caught up in the dance that he drops me and I get lost in the crowd.
I think it could be you get dropped into the dancers and they start to just like tear at you, right? I'll give you your own roll to avoid that, but I think that's probably something that could happen here. Any other thoughts about how this could go badly?
Somebody from the Forbidden Festival sees you, and you will be barred from it because of your dancing. That just seems sad, though.
That does seem pretty sad. Any other thoughts? These are all
There's
interesting
some
ideas.
obscure passage in Marek Foulcoult's writing about a bullman, and you're going to be singled out for some sort of ritual.
Speaking of him, from the depths of my boundless intellect, I have ascended to a plane beyond mortal comprehension. My thoughts transcend the mundane and soar amidst the stars, weaving constellations of brilliance that illuminate the darkness of your pitiful existence. And there's a cry of cheer, happiness. Dice. Torum, do you have a skill that will help you here?
I was thinking transformation, in that I'm sort of transforming.
Ah,
into
very
this-
interesting. Okay, I'll take that.
Into
Yeah,
this
yeah,
kind
that's
of
pretty
fey
good.
dancer.
Amanda, you can make the devil's bargain.
No matter what, you do drop Berwin.
Sorry, Berwin, that's too good.
I'll
unless somebody's got a better one.
put the Scoundrel's Quarter in play as well.
Yeah, I want to see what happens when I drop Berwin.
2 light, 1 dark. We're gonna take a 5-minute break. Be thinking about what that scene looks like. Berwin, I'll probably have you make a follow-up roll as well as you get confronted by dancers. Cassian, you may have to break kayfabe here to help out. Before we go on break, though, let's check in with Alina. Alina, you everything goes as I said earlier. You managed to rescue the boy. The pitmaster says, I just wanted a bit of his flavor in there. You can have him back, and helps haul him out. And then you hear, look what I found. And and you see this, they pull out this like this essentially like kind of half skeletal hand, just a bone, just a bunch of bone with like you know, braised flesh sloughing off of it, and then you see glimmering a pearl ring. What do you do?
Well, I know that eventually I'm going to end up in the stew with the stew master because that was part of the devil's bargain. But I think I'm going to point at this person with a ring and I'm going to yell to the children, "Children, look! That's the ring! First one to bring it back to me gets the mask."
And then that's when all the kids rush and push you both into the stew pit. And also, they did it because they pickpocketed you.
That. I hate those kids.
Alina, what did they get from you?
I think they probably stole that mask
Okay,
because
yeah,
I was
very
waving
good.
it around
Yeah,
like,
yeah. They took the mask, pushed you both in, and then like ran. Let's take a 5-minute break. All right, so let's get some dice on the table, Torum. You've got 2 light, and I think you're gonna have to do a dark as well because of I think it's just dangerous to
It
engage
does
with the
feel risky,
procession
yeah.
this way. Yeah.
Okay. That's a 6 dark.
Nice. 6 dark. Ruin goes up. Ruin goes up because I think you're going to get a little mouthful of the infection as well. Take the infected condition. But go ahead and just describe how you at least are able to join the dance.
Yeah, I think initially with Bowen on his back, uh, Torum starts to just kind of almost spin like a dervish and is dancing along with this group, and they kind of immediately take him in, and there are smiles on faces as he like spins in the center of a group of a knot of the dancers, and he kind of passes from one area of the procession to another. But yeah, that vigorous spinning, somewhere along the way, Bowen takes a fall.
Berwin, you fall down into the crowd, and a group of dancers grabs you and lifts you up. And they begin screaming that, "Behold, an offering to the dance, an offering to the dance." And they begin like tearing and pawing, and like they're gonna like fucking draw and quarter you here. They're gonna handmaid's tale your ass because like they are all over and they are scratching and tearing and pulling. What do you do?
No. There's not much I can do, I feel like. Let me um yeah, I think he falls. I think he was also in the process of trying to get some stew, and so that's just a whole thing. Um, but if you'll let me, I think that if he was in the process of getting some stew, maybe he has some stew, like in a bowl of stew in his hands, and he's going to use it to sort of burn away some of these people, like splashing it on them, try and like get them off of
I
him.
think there's too many. I think you might
Man.
be able to get one of these like lunatics like off of you, but I don't think all of them are gonna. I don't think it's gonna
All right.
work.
In that
Yeah.
case, then what do I have? I can't really pull out my salt right now.
I don't think a ritual is gonna happen
Yeah.
either. Yeah.
Um, hmm. In that case, then I am going to try and I'd like to try and use my charm here and try to
I want to hear
like
this.
so as I'm being sort of hoisted, I say, "No, no, friends, I am no sacrifice. I am think, Bowen, think. Uh no, I'm supposed to be on the stage. I'm ecstatic like you. I'm supposed to be there with Merrick. Go forth." And I want to try and get them to get me closer to the stage.
Oh, intriguing. Okay, so this will be a risk roll. Cassian, I think you'll be close enough, and because you have some control over the crowd, limited though it may be, over the procession. If Berwin needs a help roll, I think maybe you two can work that out, or you can just agree on that. But Berwin, this is interesting. Do you have well, you have your charm skill. We'll see how
Yeah,
far that gets you. It gets you one die at least, so that's
yeah.
good. Um, Ben, you can make the devil's bargain.
One way or another, they're going to believe you. So you're going to get either a place of prominence or maybe become a relic, but you are definitely leading this troop.
Take it.
Two light and one dark.
That's a 1, a 1, and a 2.
And dark is high, so you absolutely need the help roll here.
Yeah.
Cassian, what do you think?
I think Cassian is close enough to see this and recognizing Berwin, he's going to try and just yank Berwin out of their grasp.
You better help because this might be it for Berwin.
A 3. Wait,
Ouch.
can I add a dark die and reroll? Is that a thing?
Not on help, no.
Can I add a dark die and reroll?
Nope, because you got dark high. You're stuck. Wow, how unfortunate. Torum, you let Berwin slip. I'm going to let you describe Berwin being torn to pieces.
Oh, no.
I have a mask. Can I put it on?
Although we did say that no matter what, you are getting offered up to the thing, which I think is really interesting. Let's have the tearing apart first. We'll see what happens after that.
Yeah, I think it starts with Bowman trying to splash this last bit of hot stew he has on one of them, and one of them kind of scalded and pulls away in pain, and that just causes the others to redouble their efforts in gathering around him, tearing at him, and his clothes are ripped away. But as they're pulled away, you know, there are kind of scratches left in his skin and blood. And
Torum, would you try to make an effort to help Berwin?
if I see him, of course.
Yeah, I mean, because he'll be grabbed up as soon as you drop him. Berwin, do you want to help die from Torum?
Please.
That's just a straight roll, right? A straight help roll.
Use there's a help. Yeah, you just press it once.
2.
God damn it. Berwin, I will at least give you the privilege of describing your horrible rending.
No, sir, I don't like it. Yeah. If that's the case, then Torum and Cassian, Alina's somewhere off stewing it about, so I don't think she'd be around to hear him wailing as he's reaching out for Torum, calling out Cassian's name, seeing his wooden hand. Uh, but it's it's too late. He is stolen away from Torum, and a sea of people just sort of divide them. And as he's being passed, sort of crowd surfed up towards Foulcoult, his clothes are the first to go, obviously, as they're torn from him. Um, there are moments when there are some of those um, like those nettles that are being slapped against his skin. Some of them have those similar ritual daggers that the welcoming committee had, and they start to sort of tear into him with those as well. Others with just hands and teeth, uh, many of which have that sort of orange fungal stains over him, and he is uh, one half of him is taken to the stage while the other is separated, kept for the crowd to indulge upon. And so by the time his legs get to the stage, they are thrown to Merrick's feet.
Fantastic. Alina, thank you. So passes Berwin. Alina, let's check in with you. You're in a bit of a stew at the moment. And the stew itself is not dangerous. It's hot. It's uncomfortable. You might get some small burns. But we see we see the person with the little ring. You hear them say, "A fantastic offering to the pit." And they immediately run off in the direction of the amphitheater. What do you do?
I am going to scramble out of the stew pit as fast as I can and chase that person down. If I have to tackle them, I have to tackle them.
Risk roll. What could go wrong here for Alina? Everyone is still too shell shocked from Berwin
Yeah.
being killed.
Honestly.
I'm dealing right now.
I think there's just been so much attention with the, um, with all the goings on at that one stupid with people falling in and being fished out again, that like a lot of people are actually paying attention, and they'll just like rush to tackle her, and there'll be a lot of opposition.
Hmm. I think you manage to get, like, if you fail, well, I think it's pretty simple. The ring just ends up in the pit, and that's the problem. So, yeah.
Yeah, it just sinks down deeper and you have to dive in.
And we're not talking about stew pits. We're talking about some other pit they've run off to. so
Some worse pit.
some worse
If
pit.
anything worse.
It's definitely a worse pit.
A septic pit.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, let's talk dice. Do you have something that will help you with just a mad dash out of the stew?
Not really.
I'll put Scoundrel's Quarter in play for the Devil's Bargain, and we can take offers from the table as well.
Jack, you can give me something real bad since I
No,
I
I
got
wouldn't
you
want to do
killed.
that to you. You know, I believe in karma. No, no matter what. I forget what it's called. I used to know what it's called, but those sort of races that are like, especially sort of popular in India, where they throw like pigments at you.
Oh,
You'll
yeah,
end
yeah,
up
yeah,
caught in
yeah.
one of those, but the
Mhm.
pigment is actually
like
just
a color run.
Mhm.
yeah, color run essentially. But the pigment is just
Fungus.
assorted fungus. Yeah,
It's just spores.
yeah.
I was thinking those kids decide that Alina is kind of either someone they need to get back at, or someone who's going to lead them into some kind of wild shenanigans. So they start following her.
That's pretty good.
They're
Yeah,
going to be
like,
doing her footsteps from now on.
I like the
I'm
idea
gonna
of them
change
just
my bargain if that's okay.
okay. Yeah.
No matter what, one of those kids is yours.
I died to know how that came about. How would we even know?
So you guys figure out.
That's so bonkers. I have to go with it. Like what?
very intriguing.
Yep, one of those kids.
Is it Alina's or is it Magda and Berwin's?
Well, they never consummated their marriage.
They were like
They don't even know each other's names.
they don't even know I don't think they even realized they were married to each other exactly. I'm not sure Magda was, well, they were aware, but it was never well, I don't know. We don't really know what goes on in their heads. Alina, how interesting. I have no idea how we're going to approach this. Did you have a kid?
I think in my younger days at the like the convent that I lived in, I
Mhm.
might have gotten up to some shenanigans. I might have gotten up to a little side fun.
So this wasn't an immaculate conception. It was very good. Um, have you been like deluding yourself about it? Like, have you been telling yourself some other story? Have you been like suppressing it from your
No, of course
memory?
not. I would never do anything like that. Instead, what had happened was, yes, okay, I gave birth to a child, and in the sisters' good graces, the people at the convent were able to find a nice, happy home for this child because I'm so dedicated to the sisters that I couldn't possibly have time to raise a child. And also, since I'm so sad, I'm basically married to my religion. I don't have time to dally about with motherhood.
So what
Uh,
about the kids? It's gonna have to be something on their face or something, right? A birthmark or something. Like, what about the
yeah,
kid confirms to you when you see them that it's the child you gave birth to?
I think it is a birthmark, a large birthmark on their face that was there when they were born. I've seen this kid once. I remember the birthmark.
Yeah.
Um, I was kind of disappointed. I wanted a pretty baby and didn't get one.
Ouch. Jesus.
Alina sucks. Alina's
It
not
does
cool.
suck. Okay. So what do you how do you feel when you see that that's your kid?
Kind of grossed out.
Alina is horrible. You should drown in the stew, Alina. Um,
Yeah.
Interesting. Now I guess we have to figure out like what is the purpose of this kid being in the story? Like what do we think? It's such an interesting devil's bargain, but I have no idea what to do with it. Um,
This could be related to being cursed by, because I'm still cursed by Saint Ara and Saint Erlia, and I'm watched by the Sea
oh,
Witch. So this might just be maybe consequences of my actions coming back to haunt me, but I
oh,
don't really
very
believe that
interesting.
I would experience consequences. So probably
Make
not.
up, make memorialize this with a condition so we don't forget about it. But I like this. I think the kid might show up in some other context. I'll think about it for a while. Let's check in with Cassian. Cassian, what have you been up to? You are getting like moved ahead of the crowd. They've made way for the procession. You might have just seen Berwin get torn to pieces, so I'm curious what's going on in your head there. What's going on?
I think Cassian is like in a movie, Cassian's state would be represented by the sound dropping out and just high pitched noise in his ears, his eyes locked on Berwin's, uh, and I think he kind of stutters in his dancing and maybe starts looking to get closer to Torum now.
I think the two of you can be together to plan and plot. Let's just have that scene.
I think I think it starts with Torm still oblivious to what happened to Bowen and still spinning and dancing toward Foulcoult.
Cassian's gonna put a hand on his arm and say, Torm, we have to go.
Cassie, where where is Bowen?
Berwin's dead.
What?
They tore him apart. They just tore him apart.
Who, who tore him apart? Who has done this?
I think maybe at this point, like Torum's got a height advantage here. He can probably see now that he knows to look. We have to do the job and leave now.
Someone is like waving around Berwin's head and shoulder and arm
I'm gonna
currently.
just be surging full throttle toward that person with
Oh, and do
murder in
what?
my eyes. Oh, just enact revenge for what they did to Bowen.
Combating the parade is interesting. I like it. Uh, Not an impossible
And
fight, but a tough fight to be sure.
I have an idea for using a ritual.
What is it?
My burning voice. Scream forth a flame that burns the spirit within a target's body. And
They're an
I don't
endurance
think I'm going
10.
to be.
Yeah. No, sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, I don't think I'm going to be too discriminating about who the target is, as long as the person holding bits of anyone holding bits of Berwyn is included.
They are normally an endurance 10 as a crowd. The ones that you'll have to fight anyway. They're an endurance 10 collectively. You can reduce them to a 9 or an 8, depending on how well this roll goes. Um, I think that probably what's going to go wrong here is what do we think could go wrong with this ritual in this moment?
Orum's humanity is burned up along with it, and he is returned to full beast-bitten form.
That's intriguing. I don't know if I can do any better than that. Um, Do you have a skill that will help you, Torum?
Feels like transformation would help ward off that result, but I don't know if it's the help in that. Yeah, it's too late for protection against for Berwyn. I don't think I do.
I'll put the Scoundrel's Quarter in danger if you wish.
We'll take that unless anyone else is offering.
Yeah, we'll take other offers too.
Trying to see if there's a conceivable way that Berwyn's spirit could be involved here and become one of those fire ghosts.
Oh, that's intriguing. Yeah. I like the idea that this ritual is how those things are made. It's kind of a cool idea. Do you want that offer?
Yeah, that is kind of interesting. Yeah, let's go with that.
One light, one dark.
I do need a light die. 5 dark.
5 dark. What's your current ruin?
I think I'm going up.
You are going up from
Room
3
is
to 4.
3.
It's going to work though. You will reduce him down to a 9. What does this look like?
I think just kind of squaring his shoulders against these people, lowering his head and bellowing in rage, and flame bursting out among them, and screams start from these people who are, various of them are catching fire and then Torum just kind of charges toward them.
Please say how you're vulnerable and roll weak point.
I think I'm vulnerable because I'm absolutely surrounded by people who are probably not going to be very pleased with what I'm doing. And my weak point is 1.
Cassian, you joining the fight?
Absolutely.
Cassian joining the fight might prevent you from getting to Marek's platform.
Yep.
What about Bidar? Do you want him to join, or maybe Bidar will keep getting closer?
That seems right. He was not super enthused about Cassian being here in the first place.
Yeah, I think he was a little off put by it. Yeah. Fantastic. What's your weak point?
2.
Weak points are good at least. Let's have a combat 2. Go ahead. You need 9, Torum.
Snake
1 and
eyes.
a 1. Boy, the dice roller's a bitch today. You're taking 2 hits.
I'm taking 2 hits.
2 hits, Torum. Do you have armor?
Which would kill me. I do have armor.
You have 3 armors.
So
That's good. Start the combat. What's going on?
I think Torum, charges forward, but just the confusion and the swelling of the crowd, or the people starting to panic and run away from those that have caught fire, and um, it's just really hard for him to make any progress. And I think there are just, in the panic, there are weapons being swung and fists being thrown and people tripping and falling and trampling one another. And yeah, it's only by having a sturdy helmet on his head that Torm is able to not get brained immediately.
Narrate your bit, Cassian.
I think Cassian draws Magda's sword, and I don't think the procession anticipates an attack from within. So when he uh, manages to draw a sword, knocking a couple aside, he doesn't get to hurt them, but there's a moment before everyone turns and sees, and he starts to prepare.
Let's do the second round, and then I'm gonna check in on Alina. Cassian, go ahead and roll combat 3. Looking for 9 total on the 2 highest dice.
That's a 12, but I hit a 1.
There is a 1 as well. You taking that hit, Torum?
I do have more armor.
You do.
Yeah, I think I'll mark some more armor.
All right, give us your little bit, Torum, while also narrating how you are actually getting some revenge here on these people.
Yeah, I think Forum is just, he's pushed down and trips and people are trampling over him, but he just, with his strength, just bursts up, kind of throwing people off him, and charges forward. And is as he charges, he draws that longsword from its sheath and starts swinging it, and there are burning revelers who are now in many pieces as he just indiscriminately swings that blade at anyone that looks like they might have been involved with what happened to Berwin.
Cassian, give us your part.
I think pretty close to Torum, we see Cassian just indiscriminately stabbing and slashing and cutting down everyone who even turns their way, everyone who's wearing or stained with blood, just trying to take as many out as possible.
Alina, let's check in with you. Had you rolled dice yet?
I don't remember. Everything is just moving so fast.
I know everybody was a little like in a state of shock after Berwin got killed.
Yeah.
Um,
I don't think I did.
I don't think you did either.
Yeah, I had 1 light
You have
because I
1
was
light, and
taking the devil's bargain,
yeah,
and then
just 1 light for now. There's nothing inherently dangerous about
okay,
running down the street. So
a 5.
I think I'm gonna put that. I'm gonna make that devil's bargain have some meaning right now. I think that this child has always been told something about his mother and or her mother. Is it a boy or a girl?
Let's say it's a boy.
His mother, and he thinks you might be her, or he at least thinks something. He's got some kind of something, some intuition, something's going on, and I think the kids are waiting around the corner, and they're gonna like basically follow you. So like you're following this person with the ring, they're following you. Are you okay with that?
Yeah, let's do
Okay.
it.
Describe how you eventually catch up to this person.
There is a considerable amount of chaos happening in the city right now. I don't know what's happening, but it is drawing the attention of a lot of people. So people are sort of all rushing towards the amphitheater, which kind of paves the way for me to really quite easily just bolt down the road and follow this person. I want to make sure that I watch where they're going. I need that ring. It's very important to me. So I think, yeah, I just follow the person through the chaos.
Yeah, you can get caught up to them pretty easily. That's going to get you close to the amphitheater. This person even knows like a secret way in. They managed to avoid the crowd and get inside. You can follow inside. Cassian and Torum, you will eventually be able to follow the mass of people in through the main entrance of the amphitheater. This set is called The Master Speaks, and your goal is to assassinate Marek Foulcoult. In a crumbling amphitheater in the center of the city, Marek Foulcoult holds court over a crowd of his believers. He scratches at his fungus-covered skin. His body is a strange combination of malnourished and bloated, different parts bulging or sagging. His robes are finely made, but unable to fit his twisting form. His hair and beard are matted and long, blowing in the oppressively warm wind. Foulcoult preaches a complete dismissal of all laws, not as a benevolent anarchist, but to allow him and his followers to do whatever they want and surrender themselves to their basest and most violent urges. He preaches that anyone who speaks against them is a vile, inhuman enemy who must be crushed. He preaches that such people are jealous or, even worse, poor, a failing of their souls and a perversity of their minds that must be cleansed with fire. The crowd is ecstatic. You see them as you get kind of funneled in. Some listening, some screaming in support, some fighting with each other. All smile joyously from vacuous faces as they stab and beat and trample on each other. At a certain point, a herd of pigs is accompanied to the altar and slaughtered. Their blood is drained into large bowls, which are passed around the crowds for them to pour over their heads, staining them red. Someone in the crowd later raises a small dissenting point against Foulcoult's preaching. The mad preacher singles them out as a liar and a traitor. He calls on his followers to punish them. They do, stamping and trampling the poor soul to death and ripping their body apart, and throwing the pieces, along with Berwyn's pieces, into a pit at the center of the crowd, nearest Foulcoult's altar, surrounded by an iron fence with a slick, roiling orange goo bubbling up over the edge. If you were to get even just a glimpse of what's inside the pit, you would see a mass of body parts, some like Berwyn's, some on living people who have thrown themselves voluntarily into the pit. The bright orange fungus is creating a horrifying gestalt of body parts and revelers. The revelers are down in the pit, and they are engaged in all kinds of carnal activity down in the pit. It's very much like the shunting, and their bodies are being stretched and entered and interwoven. Hands and arms are going places, fingers are going places, and always it's roiling and bubbling and stretching and twisting, and the sounds coming out of the pit are a combination of ecstasy and terror. And all the while, Marek bellows his preaching, bellows these words, riling up his supporters. I think we're going to end a little early today because we have a missing character, and I think it would be weird to make Jack sit through all of this. But
No,
also,
please, I'm fine.
no, it's okay. I actually like this. I like this as the ending point also. So let's go to Stars and Wishes while we let all of that simmer. It's always something when a character dies and suddenly. That's a thing that can happen in Trophy. So
Newest one as well.
do what? Then
The
I know.
newest one.
Yeah. Poor Berwyn. Ah, 'tis sad, 'tis sad. But maybe something will come of Berwin inside the pit. Maybe, maybe something will happen down there. Who knows? That's kind of a wish I have. I wonder if there's like more story for Berwin down in the pit. I don't know, but
Yeah, I'm a little floored. Like this whole session was something. Gosh, yeah, stars for the descriptions and how horrifying everything was. Because that was horrifying. Star for Jack for really just rolling with it. I mean, them's the rules, and you kind of got to. But your description of how Berwin ended up, like the last moments were just bonkers. That was wild. That was very gross and terrifying. Um, yeah, I really liked Cassian joining the dancers, becoming exuberant. We'll never see that again, but that was great. I also really liked Cassian and Torum becoming vengeful murderer hobos. That was appropriate. I felt it made me, Amanda, feel like, yes, cathartic. I like this. Um, Thanks for letting me make Alina terrible. I, Amanda, of course, don't have a problem with birthmarks. I think they're gorgeous. But Alina sucks, and she does. And I feel like it's fun to lean into that. It's like when we were playing The Between and Miss Blakely went on this huge rant about eugenics. It just makes you feel gross to
I
say
know,
it.
yeah, yeah. Well, and treasure hunters
Uh,
are all bad people, yeah. So,
exactly,
although
yeah.
Berwin, I think, was maybe one of the good ones, and
Berwin was like our good one, and
yeah, and Torum,
no,
Torum's kind of a good one too, to be fair. But yeah,
mostly just Alina's terrible.
yeah, yeah. Cassian is
Yeah.
Cassian's not terrible, but Cassian lies and Cassian leaves out things and gets you all in these situations.
For sure. Yeah, I'm interested in seeing what's going to happen with this one because I'm looking at our hunt tokens, I'm looking at our burdens, and there is a big possibility that we might not get enough
I mean,
to
your
meet
share of
this.
the bounty is higher now. So, there's
Oh,
that.
Oh, yeah.
oh no.
Yeah, if you want to pillage my different parts that are still around, I'm sure
You
there's
see
things to
Berwin's
pillage.
backpack going in the pit.
No, tokens. Yeah, this was intense. This was intense.
Man,
Yeah.
the die roller. I don't know if I want
Yeah,
to
that was
star or
Anti-star for
anti-star
the
the
die
die
roller.
roller. Man, the die roller came and said and chose violence today. So yeah,
Yeah, Silent Roller was really on one today. Um, yeah, I mean, I'm sad Berwin's gone. 'Cause I really did like him, like playing him, and yeah, I wasn't expecting to have another character concept so soon, but here we are. But no, other than my untimely demise, this was fun. I loved seeing Kazian cut loose. Um, the mental picture of it was very interesting and awkward for me, which I appreciated. Because I don't see him as being like a dancer. But I feel like he is the type to want to dance, if that makes sense. Like he has the dance in him, but he's just so sort of conservative in his own way, buttoned up that he rarely lets it out, especially in front of a sea of crazy people. Um, Torum, it's nice knowing you, buddy. I'll miss our little buddy relationship there, but always fun to see you go nuts with that ritual, the burning mouth ritual. It's always very cinematic when you do it.
I'm not
Alina,
convinced Torum's going to survive this. Just gonna
I
throw that
don't
out
know.
there. I'm
Well, I
not convinced
mean,
of it. Yeah,
He's going pretty hard here.
yeah.
you are going hard. Just in the moment, for the moment, rather. I like it, and I want you all to survive. I don't have any malice towards any of you, um, especially not you, Amanda. Um, but enjoy your new son. That should be fun. And that's a wish. I want to see how that plays out. Like
I'm,
I,
we should.
part of me,
I think the son. Like, like, there could be a story here where it's like this, like, oh, redemption arc, and the kid shows Alina's better nature. I don't think so. I think this
no,
kid's
no,
like a
not at
mean
all.
piece of shit. Yeah, I think he's
Yeah,
like the worst.
And he has
yeah,
every right to be.
Yeah. My headcanon right now is that somehow the kid and the witch are connected. Like I don't know if the kid was raised by the sea witch and like it's a whole big thing,
That would be
but
interesting. Yeah.
I think there's spiciness to add to the stew. Which is all that's all you've wanted, I know.
What if
Yeah,
what if what if your new character is the kid? That would be cool.
maybe. I don't know if I want to have Alina as a mother though. Um, that's the only problem. And then yeah, Jason. Thanks for killing me, I guess. No, yeah, no, the battle stuff was really fun. And as always, the slurping noises, and I love the whole scene of the stew master just trying to shove the kid in because he thought it was extra seasoning, and I love that little touch of it. So yes, despite my unfortunate death, I'm having fun. Uh, Go team.
Yeah, I
Uh,
started writing some notes and then didn't like something happened and kind of my notes fell off a little bit. But I really enjoyed the scene with Alina and the stew, especially getting to make that devil's bargain, and just the whole situation with the kids showing up was a lot of fun. And yeah, I wanted to give a start to Ben for leaning into the whole horse and rider thing again when he was trying to get to the front of the procession. And the Bowen's demise, sad but glorious in a way. I just had pictures of that scene in Day of the Dead where like the captain gets torn apart by the zombies or something on the ground, and he's like, I hope you choke on it. And yeah, and
That's the
then I had
worst of
fun.
those, but that's the best scene in that one though. So yeah.
Yeah, and yeah, I had fun like just leading into Tom going nuts as a reaction. So that I'm really looking forward to seeing what happens to him next time, and if he'll come through it. He also is like not doing great burdens wise, so this next session's going to be interesting.
Not much I could say that hasn't been said. Star for leaning in on Alina's awfulness, Amanda, and also just going to great lengths to avoid getting into the stew yourself, only to end up in the stew yourself. Torum having that moment of pure bullish rage is perfect, and I look forward to seeing more of that. Poor Berwin. I wish I hope that this isn't the end of Berwin's story, even if it's the end of Berwin, and I hope we see uh, some. There were so many delicious hints of Berwin's power and the ties to the spirit stuff, and so I hope that persists in some way. Um,
You know what's
yeah,
really
good.
sad is I forgot that I had a white die that I could have added.
Oh, really?
Because I have an omen.
Oh.
And I forgot that I had
Got
it.
gotta get all those
Specifically, my
advantages if you
omen was about
can.
being grabbed. Was about being.
Oh no.
Oh no. Well, we'll see what happens when we get back. But go ahead, Ben. Sorry.
That is that's wow. Star for that, I guess. And yeah, anti-star for the dice roller. We need to roll up a new one. It's been too cruel.
Hmm. I want to say that like one thing that I have not I agree with a lot of what's been said already, and I've already said some of my stars and wishes, but I I haven't had a character be killed in a risk roll like this in a long, long time. It's been ages since I've had this happen. And I actually want to go review Trophy Gold's rules to see if this is even like legal because it's not I can't remember if I'm so used to playing CFB where that is what would happen, right? You would be dead because that's what we talked about. But you can also obviously you can backtrack in CFB and you can't here. And I'm reading it and it says roll the dice. If your highest die is a 1 to 3, you fail and things get worse. The GM describes how, which may or may not be connected to one of the ideas offered when you asked what could go wrong. Um, the GM may also allow you to succeed, but things will get worse in some other way. Like, to me, I take that to mean that you can be killed because that's what we discussed. But I, I wonder. I kind of want to ask Jesse. Like, Jesse, like, is this a legit thing that we did? But I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. I haven't had this happen in so long. I haven't had to address it in ages.
It feels like I've seen that happen before, but I'm
I
not
feel like we've had
100%
this
sure.
conversation before in
Yeah.
other places. Yeah. And I know you can't make ruin go up unless it was unless a dark die has to have gone higher than your current ruin for your ruin score to go up. That's like an ironclad rule in the game. But that doesn't necessarily matter for just like fictional outcomes where ruin is not the issue. The issue is you got torn to pieces, right? And there's only one outcome of you got torn to pieces, you're dead, right? And so, but what I think is interesting is I do actually think it would be really interesting if there was something with Berwyn and the pit, right? Like that this is a salvation of a sort, but Berwyn has changed, or there's some kind of like other thing going on, you know? Um, so you get like a different version of Berwyn. I think that could be a lot of fun as well. And if indeed Jesse tells me that we handled this wrong, then that might be what happens. But we'll see. I don't know. We'll see. I think I'm right, but it does make me wonder because I haven't had it happen in a long time. So, but yeah, I don't think I have any other stars and wishes though, except this was just really shocking and fun. So yeah, this is kind of what we show up for, right?
Yeah, I mean, it can be kind of unforgiving sometimes,
Could
which I
be,
mean is part
yeah.
of the appeal.
I mean, there were one, two, three, there were three die rolls to try to save Berwyn's life. They all failed. So
Nothing over a 3.
nothing over a 3 got rolled. Yeah. Okay, fantastic. Well, any other stars and wishes before we go? All right. Well, in that case, I'm going to wave goodbye to people who are people who who are up to this point in the campaign right now are probably like still a little slack-jawed about this. So, we'll talk about it on Discord. But bye, everybody. So,